Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to Safe Space with Keara Graves. I'm none other than Keara Graves. Oh, I know, right? In the flesh. I hope you all are having a great week. Thank you for waiting for me because, girl, it's been busy around here. It's been busy. Also, it's been literally way too hot in my apartment that I can't even record anything. I'm too hot to record anything, but it's actually cooling down. So we're good. We're good to record today. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about what does it mean to be in alignment? What the fuck does that even mean? What does alignment mean? What do you mean aligned with what? I'm going to explain it to you. And why living in alignment is the most fulfilling thing for your soul. So, I believe that before we all came down to this earth, we wrote a blueprint for our lives. So basically, we wrote down what we want to achieve, accomplish, heal through, work through, all the challenges in our lives, all the obstacles. I believe that we know our soul's path before we come down here. But when we're birthed, our memory is wiped. So we don't remember what we came here for. I feel like that's the reason why a lot of us just feel really random. We're like, why the fuck are we even here? Why? I feel like almost all of us has probably had a moment in our lives that's like, why do we exist? Why are we here right now? Why am I existing? Why did God or the universe or whatever choose to make me alive at this point in time? What is the reason? What is the purpose? I actually read a really good book. It's called The Other Side and Back by Sylvia Browne. Sylvia Browne is a world-renowned medium, psychic, intuitive. And I learned about this blueprint thing in her book, and I totally resonated with it. So I wanted to share it on here with you guys, because I do believe that this is all intentional. The reason why we're here, there is a reason. This is intentional. We're not just randomly placed here for no fucking reason to just struggle, to just hurt, to, have life be horrible and, for us not to accomplish anything. Our soul knows the intention and our soul knew it before we came down here. And we also have spirit guides and ancestors who are looking over us and watching over our journey, our blueprint. And she talked a lot about we all have a spirit guide. There's one specific spirit guide that's basically our best friend on the other side in the spirit world. And there's meditations and visualizations you can do to contact your spirit guide. I've actually done it. There's a meditation in Sylvia Browne's book that helped me to contact my spirit guide. And that was really cool. And no matter if you believe in spirit guides or not, if you believe in what I'm saying, the thing that matters is how you feel when you connect with your spirit guide. The feeling that you get is real. No matter if, you might imagine the spirit guide or not, the feeling you get of reassurance, that is the point. So Sylvia Browne talks about how our spirit guide knows our blueprint as well. Our spirit guide has memorized our blueprint and is helping us to fulfill our blueprints while we're on this earth. So that's why, when we connect to intuition and we hear a little voice, it could be our spirit guide leading us in the direction of what is going to fulfill our blueprint. In the book, Sylvia Browne says that there's two main purposes that we come down here for. The list of purposes are in her book, but the first purpose is kind of the thing that you feel most passionate about when you're here. What do you feel most passionate about in this life? What do you want to accomplish? For me, it's humanitarianism. For me, it's helping others, helping the world, spreading awareness on important topics, human rights, animal rights. I care deeply about the people on this planet, and which is why I literally do what I do. It makes sense. And in this purpose, in what I'm doing right now, I feel very aligned with my purpose. In making this podcast, in, doing all my content on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, that all feels very aligned with my purpose. And that's why I do it, because it feels so fulfilling to me. Like, I can go to bed feeling like I'm doing what I need to be doing right now. I'm doing what I came here to do. Like, that is what it feels like to be in alignment. And if you don't feel fulfilled, that's okay. If you don't feel fulfilled in what you're doing right now, that's okay. But the awareness of knowing that you don't feel fulfilled in what you're doing right now is an important step, because the first step to change is awareness. It's awareness of, oh, what needs to shift in my life to feel more aligned? What do I need to, what puzzle pieces need to fall into place in order for me to be more aligned with my purpose, with my blueprint? Speaking from experience, what it feels like to be aligned with my purpose, like I said, it's going to bed feeling fulfilled. It's going to bed at the end of the day being like, I am one step closer to my goal. And big dreams are not made in one day. Big dreams are made over very small steps every day, doing at least one thing per day that moves you towards your end goal, whatever that may be. So, realizing like, I don't have to do this all in one day. I don't have to do this all alone. I have spirit guides, I have ancestors, I have angels that are around me at all times, helping me, moving me towards my purpose. So all the burden, it's not just on me as a human, me, Keara Graves, my human self. I have a whole team. It's like having a management team on the other side in the spirit world. You're never alone. They're always there. It may not feel like they're there sometimes because maybe we just have too much going on in our heads, but the way to access, connection with them is to get quiet, meditation, stillness, being out in nature, connecting with your inner self. That's how you can connect with your spirit guides, and they can help you realize your soul purpose. But in order to do that, you need to slow down a lot. Like, there's a lot of slowing down in this process. There's a lot of introspection, quiet contemplation that needs to happen, that in order to sometimes realize what we are supposed to be doing. And if you feel really lost right now, it's okay. We've all been there. We all feel like that. I've had so many days and nights where I just feel worthless. I feel like I literally, like, there's like this dark part of me that I've actually been working through recently that keeps telling me, like, you're worthless. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of trash. You're not good at anything. No one wants you here. I feel like, a lot of us may have that inner critic that tells us that every single day, whether we're conscious of it or not. It might be subconscious, right? It might be like a subconscious pattern, a loop that replays in our head that tells us, yeah, well, this happened because you're shit at this, or you're not good at this, or you're not worth anything. You're not enough. You need to keep doing more and more and more. And nothing is ever enough. But nothing is ever enough for this critical voice, this critical mind. You're never going to satisfy it. And that critical voice is the voice of your ego. The voice of your ego, it's never satiated. It's like it's hungry for more and more and more, and it feeds upon negativity. So it keeps trying to replay these programs of negativity, and you're not enough, and this and that, like over and over again. I don't know where the ego comes from. Like, that is one of the biggest things I think about is, why do we have an ego? We are born into this world, I believe, without an ego. Like, I don't think any babies have egos. I think we develop egos as we age and as we're exposed to other people's egos. Interesting. Your ego is basically just your false self. It's like your mask. It's the mask you put on. It's the mask. It's not the real you, but a lot of people confuse it with themselves. And then they think that they are their ego. But it's not true. You're not your ego. Because no babies have an ego. Animals don't have an ego. Plants don't have an ego. The only people that have an ego is people. People have egos, but like adults, like you develop your ego as you get older. And I do think that there are aspects of the ego that are helpful. It's possible to have a healthy ego, an ego that it does its job, it's in check. You're keeping it in check. You're keeping it in its own lane. I feel like the ego does have a purpose, but it's not to run your entire life. I do feel like we're all meant to follow our spirit and not our ego, but our ego does have a place in there. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. There is a reason for the ego, and maybe it's to challenge us, and maybe it's to help us realize like the negativity that is in this world and that's inside ourselves, and to work through it. Going back to the two purposes that I said Sylvia Browne talks about in her book. The first one is like the thing you're most passionate about. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place. The first thing is what you're most passionate about. So for me, humanitarianism, right? Makes sense. And the second purpose is often the thing that you struggle with the most. And I found this really interesting. We come down here knowing that we're going to put ourselves through some shit. Like, one of the purposes of literally being on this earth is to be challenged. It's a challenge. It's a test. It's like going to school. We have these things that we struggle with, these hardships, these obstacles, these fears, our ego, because we're supposed to. Because we're supposed to work through them. We're supposed to like work with them. We're always going to deal with some level of our ego, unless we're like Jesus, you know what I mean? Like, unless we're like a very enlightened being. And there are some of those people. Those people do exist. And those people, like, probably Jesus didn't really have much of an ego. Like, he did, but he was enlightened, so he overcame his ego, and he was like not even operating from his ego by the time he was like, teaching and preaching and stuff. But for most of us, like, we're not all meant to be Jesus. But the ego serves a purpose. The ego does serve a purpose. And sometimes, like, our biggest hardships are the most important lessons for our growth. So if you're going through something really heavy right now, if you're struggling with an ego, with an old thought pattern, with limiting beliefs, with something you want to heal through, like, that's good. You're doing so good. You're doing what you came here to do. You're working on your shit. Like, these things, they don't define you. They don't define you. They're all just teachers. They're hard as fuck teachers. But they're teachers nevertheless. And sometimes we do have teachers that make us feel like we're worthless, like we're a piece of shit. But if we didn't have those teachers, we wouldn't learn to grow our confidence. We wouldn't learn to be a brighter light. We wouldn't have the challenge. It wouldn't be necessary to become bigger and brighter. So, the things that you're dealing with right now, like, they are, one, they're temporary, and two, they're for your good. They're for your growth. Welcome in your darkness. Say hello to it. And you don't have to make it your whole personality, but knowing that, yes, this is a part of me that it resides in me. This is an aspect of me. It's not who I am. It's not everything that I am, but it does reside in me. And so I'm going to send it love, and I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to grow from it. Like, I'm going to choose life. It's a conscious choice to choose your highest path of evolution. I've made it a conscious choice to be on my highest possible path of evolution. Like, I want to do the most. I got this far to age 25. And I've had to deal with some shit in my lifetime. Like, this first 25 years were like, felt like a whole lifetime. Like, genuinely, it felt like a whole lifetime of struggle and obstacles and hurt and fear and bad shit. But, like, I'm here now. I am talking to you guys. We're in this room. We're chatting. We're vibing. Wherever you are, we're here together. And like, that's such an accomplishment. Like, we could have decided to give up on life a long time ago. I could have decided to give up on life a long time ago, and I almost did. I almost did a few times. My mental health has been so rough in some times in my life that I did want to exit this life. I wanted to be like, "Okay, I really want to peace out. Like, this is too hard." But I'm so proud of myself that I chose no, like, bitch, I've gotten this far. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Come on. I'm not going to give up. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm up for a challenge. And I'm so proud of you for being here. Like, your life wasn't easy either. And I know it. And I know that you've had shit you've had to overcome to be here, to be sitting here, to be listening to this right now. You are so fucking strong and powerful to be here right now. Like, I believe that, the souls that have reincarnated in this time are really strong souls because, the state of the world is just in shambles. And there's so much shit. There's so much baggage. There's so much stuff we have to heal from. Like, I'm so proud of us for choosing, like, yeah, I'm going to go down in like 2024. I'm going to go down in like the 2000s. And I'm going to change the world, or I'm going to make an impact in whatever way I can. Or like, you have a purpose. There is a reason you're here. You chose an intention before coming down here. And it's okay if you don't know what that is yet. But just know that you have one. Know that you're meant to be here. And know that you wouldn't be here if you weren't worthy. You wouldn't be here if you weren't enough. You wouldn't be here. Trust me. Like, the fact that you are here is an accomplishment. I'm proud of you. I really am. I'm proud of all of us. So back to alignment. I want to talk more about what it feels to be in alignment. How do you know if you're in alignment? Like, Keara, how do I know if I'm doing what I need to be doing right now? Like, am I doing it right? I feel like I ask myself this question like 20 times a day. Like, am I making the right decisions? Am I doing it right? Like, I literally don't know sometimes. So here are some like kind of tip-offs that will, reassure me that yes, I am doing what I meant to be doing. Yes, I'm exactly where I need to be. And I will say right now, you are exactly where you need to be. You are already doing it right. But here are some things that I've felt since I've like aligned myself more with my soul's path versus what my ego wanted me to do. One is that I feel a sense of ease and peace that I never felt before. I almost feel like when I am in alignment, I'm just burning some Palo Santo because I forgot to do it at the beginning of this episode. So when you are in alignment, you're probably going to feel this peace and this ease and some stress off your shoulders that your actions are being led by another source. Your actions are being led by something way bigger and way greater than just your human mind and your human body. It takes the pressure off to feel in alignment because your actions will no longer be ego-driven. Your actions will start to become from another source, from your source, from the universe. And you will be serving the universe. Your existence and your actions will be for the good of all, the good of everyone, including you. Whereas when you're ego-led, your ego only thinks about yourself. So when you're ego-led, you're only thinking about what's going to make me look good, what's going to like show others that I'm better than them. There's like a hierarchy that your ego wants to fulfill with you at the top. But when you are spirit-led, you understand that I'm just the same as you. You're just the same as me. There's no one who's better than the other. We're all made of the same source materials. We're all magic. And so there is no so-and-so's better than so-and-so. We're all just doing different things. And when you're in alignment, your purpose will feel like you are a servant of the universe. You are a servant of God, if that makes sense. So not God in the sense of like religion, but God in the sense of like the creator of the universe. The second thing you will feel when you're in alignment is a sense of flow. So there is no forcing when you are in alignment because nothing needs to be forced. Everything is just flowing effortlessly as it should be. And you feel like a sense of relaxation because you know that there's no need to rush. You're always right on time. There's a song called Butterfly by Maija, I think that's her name. And it goes like, I'm not rushing, but I'm right on time. No matter what's been done tonight, I'm satisfied. Making spaces in my thoughts to realign. Angel faces on my watch, I see the signs. Like a butterfly, loving this version of me. Living my life like a deep sigh of relief. That song is called Butterfly 222, and 222 is the angel number of alignment. So if you want to like bring more alignment into your life, I highly recommend you listen to that song. It's called Butterfly 222 by Maija. I might be butchering that name. Maijah. Great song. Basically, that whole song, she describes what it feels like to be in alignment. And it's just a breath of fresh air. It's just, you feel like you can breathe. You feel like you can breathe fully. You can breathe easily. Everything's flowing. Aim to be like nature. Aim to emulate nature in the way that nature doesn't force anything. We can't force our plants to grow. No matter how hard we want our, house plant to, I just want you to be big and luscious already. I just want you to, bloom. I want you to have a flower already. But the flower innately knows when to bloom and when to not bloom. The skies know when to rain and when to shine the sun. The atmosphere knows when to have wind and when to be still. And we have that nature inside of us. We have that innate knowing that comes from nature, and that's the same as nature inside of us. We just have to access it. We just have to get in the state of mind to access it. We have to regulate our nervous systems, actually. And a lot of us are in a dysregulated state. I know that I have lived in a dysregulated nervous system state for probably almost my whole life. And only now I'm starting to have moments of getting out of it. But when our nervous systems are dysregulated, it's really hard to access that flow state. It's really hard to access our intuition, our spiritual selves, our inner selves, our higher selves, because we are acting out of fear. We are acting out of our egos. We are acting out of protection. And there is a time and place for that. There's a time and place for those emotions and for those feelings. But our bodies get so used to being in those dysregulated states that we think it's our natural state, but it's not. Another feeling that you might have when you're in alignment with your soul's purpose is even when things hit the fan, you still have this underlying knowing that things are going to turn out all right. You feel like there's always this undercurrent, even when you're having a really rough mental health time, there's this undercurrent of everything's okay. You're doing what you need to be doing. Everything's okay. It's like a cradle. Someone is cradling you as you're crying, as you're going through all this hard, heavy shit. You are being cradled. You feel safe. You feel protected. You do feel like everything will be okay. Even if in this moment you don't feel like it is, you have this undercurrent of knowing. This has to be a daily practice. For me, if I don't start my day with either affirmations, a meditation, deep breathing, yoga, something that kind of anchors me, re-anchors me and recenters me, it's really easy to get pulled in by the ego during the day. So what helps me is in the morning, telling my subconscious, giving my whole soul a bath, basically. So however you want to do that, it's different for me every day. But this morning I listened to money affirmations, and other days I'll just do some morning yoga, and it'll center myself, it'll ground myself. And when you're grounded, you can much more easily access your intuition and know if you are aligned or not. Even if you do feel like you get off track, you can always get back on that path. You can always go back on that path. And sometimes it does take you to get off the path to realize, all right, I gotta go back. I gotta realign myself. I gotta ground myself. I gotta get back on the path. I hope this all made sense. I really wanted to talk about like alignment, because I feel like it's one of those words that people throw around, and like not a lot of people might even know what it means. They're just like, oh, that's some weird like woo-woo shit. So I hope that this like helped you kind of like understand what it does mean to be in alignment and how important it is to be in alignment, because it just feels good. It just feels better. It feels intentional. It feels purposeful. It feels like, okay, I'm doing my purpose. And no matter whether you do feel like you're doing your purpose or not, like it's okay. You're still doing so good. Okay, like no matter whether you feel in alignment or not, like you're enough and you are worthy, and you're also worthy of feeling good. You're really, 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 really worthy of living here, and being yourself. You're so, so, so valuable to this earth. You are so important. You're so freaking important, man. I don't know, like, if anyone has ever told you that, but your presence matters. You are needed here. You are important. You have a purpose here. And you're doing so good. You're doing so good. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing, okay? You're doing exactly what you need to be doing. You're doing enough. And with that, I will leave you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope that, you got something from this. I hope this gave you a little pick me up. I don't know. Let me know. Let me know if it did. I love you so much. I love you so much you don't even understand. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye guys. Mwah.